Hello, everyone, and welcome to Streak's first podcast on helping parents teach finance to children. We all know how important personal finance as a skill is, but we all have been very late in learning it in our lives. We don't want the same happening to our next generation, don't we? To speak about this topic, we have Alex, who is the founder of Mind Treasures. Mind Treasures is an NGO which has affiliates in over 80 countries and multiple schools around the world. They aim at eliminating financial illiteracy. So, let's not waste more time and let's get started with the event. Hello, Alex, and welcome to the event.
Thank you so much, Vishnav. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here again.
It's great to have you on the event, Alex, and we're glad to have a conversation with you as well. So I think we can just get started with the questions. We have already introduced the topic. So before we just go on with that, I just want to take you back a bit to the point where you started Mind Treasures. So can you just let us know why exactly did you start Mind Treasures, or why exactly did you find a need to start an organization for financial literacy for children?
Okay, sure, definitely. I mean, the story is very long, so I can't fit it in here, but the idea came from my wife. It was December of 2005. She said, Alex, there are many people that need help with their finances. They're struggling, especially adults. That was her initial goal. And she said, look at our personal lives. Both my wife and I are immigrants from Iran to United States. We've been here almost 40 years. We arrived here in '86. Separate ways. We knew each other, but we came our own separate ways with very little money in our pockets. I had about $150. She had about the same amount of money.
Oh,
Both of
God.
us had sponsors. She was in East Coast in New York. I was in the West Coast. So individually, we did really well. We put ourselves to school. We got credit cards. I got credit cards from very much at the beginning. And then once we were done with school, and both of us obtained engineering degree. I have an electrical engineering degree, and she has a computer science.
Okay.
And when we got married, even throughout our marriage life, and once we started having family, we were always very good with our money. And then when we looked at the society, especially the American society around us, we would always see people are struggling. And it didn't matter whether they were making very little money or a lot of money. Still, everybody was struggling. It was on TV, it was on news that people are having so much debt. In US, pretty much credit card debts. People were drowning in credit card
So,
debts.
Alex, what do you exactly mean by struggling?
So struggling means that they have a sufficient income, but then either they would run out of money at the end of the month, would not have any savings, would not have any retirement account. I'll give you an example. When we started, one of the families that we worked with, we call them the $250,000 family. And the
Okay.
reason for that is when they approached us, they said, we have our own business, and every month we run out of money. And we asked them, once they accepted to work with us, family of five, parents, and then two teenage children. And we asked them, how much money do you bring in from your business to your household? They said, $250,000. And it was like,
God.
wow, exactly, $250,000.
That's a
Like,
lot.
that is a lot. It's like, how could you run out of that in 1 year? And we knew their family environment. They were renting, they didn't have a house, and once we got to know them more, they didn't have any savings, no retirement, and about $100,000 in debt.
Oh my
So we
God.
asked them, do you know where your money went? Do you know how you spent it? It's like, yes, absolutely. So they had everything, but they had never looked at it. And that is one of the challenges that many people have. When we started, we thought, oh, it was only a problem here in the United States. But then now we are seeing that it's a global issue. That finances is something that people have always just managed. They have learned it, maybe they're from their parents through trial and error, but never received much education on it. How do we manage it? And as we know, financial systems have become really complex over the years, especially when lending and credit cards are introduced in different societies.
Got it.
So that's how we started. But your question was, when did we, or why did we start to teach children?
Correct, exactly.
And
Because I think your quarter million family and everyone were adults, right? So yeah, why exactly would we want to start with children? Because we can technically teach adults as well.
exactly, and that goes back to the $250,000 family. When we sat down together, we were able to immediately show them how their money was being wasted on different things. So they were able to scale back. But then it got to a point, it's just like losing weight. If anybody has ever tried to lose weight, the first few grams or maybe half a kilo or a kilo, losing it, it's easy. You stop eating and then you lose it. But then when you really want to lose a lot of weight, then you're struggling. And this was
Correct.
the case with the family. When we would ask them, like, why did you spend that? Why did you do that? They got actually upset. So we knew that working with adults was going to be very difficult. They do need to learn it, but it's like anything else, it's difficult for them to change their attitude. And we were very lucky that that same year when we started, 2006, our son started kindergarten. And it was just an idea. Why don't we try to teach kids? Maybe we should try to teach them young. And at that point, and still even today, many people feel that we should teach our children about finances maybe in secondary school or high school, like grade 10, 12, and up. But we started from kindergarten in
Okay.
2006, and I'm so glad we did because we've been seeing a lot of results, it's just like anything else. We teach our kids how to brush their teeth as soon as they have their first tooth. We teach them to pray. They don't know why they're praying or who they're praying to, but we teach them and they develop that habit.
Got it.
Finances is the same thing. It starts by developing habits, and then as they grow older, then we explain to them why do we do things the way we do.
Got it, got it. So you were saying kindergarten, right? Do you think it's an early age to start finance, or do you think it's a right age, or is there something like a right age to start finance, or is it just as early as possible to just build in that good habit?
Well, the very first children workshop that we did, it was for grade 5, which is age 11 or so.
Okay.
And we were surprised at how receptive, how much those youth could take in. And we also start seeing that, wow, some of their habits is unfortunately is already set. I remember one student when we kept talking about, well, we do need to share part of our wealth, whether it's money, time, expertise, and so forth. He said, I will share when I have lots of money. And it's a very sad story. Unfortunately, that
Okay.
youth died in an accident, and I don't know if he ever got to share or not. So we saw that not that it was too late, but some of their habits was already set. We
So the
haven't
habits
done,
was set when the child was which age exactly?
this was 11. This was an 11-year-old
Okay.
that said that I would share some of my money when I have lots of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that same time, we did work with a few children in kindergarten. We really didn't concentrate on that. So for the past, we've been in operation for 16 years now, and for most of it, we've been concentrating on doing the official education from grade 3 or age 8. That's when we really start in the schools. But we have
Got it.
received a few times, even this week, requests for material to start teaching children about finances. From like this week from Korea, somebody said, "Do you have material for age 4 to 6?" And it's like, wow. So there is the desire, there is the need. To the best of my knowledge, it's we cannot officially like start teaching them how to budget at that age, but
Definitely.
several habits can definitely be initiated from very young ages, even from age 2.
Okay, that's great. So basically, as early as possible, so that behavior gets inculcated in the child and they take it forward. Okay, that's perfect. Alex, we spoke about the age. Just have one question on the term finance, right? We were just saying finance as a generic term, and I think when the quarter million family, you had mentioned that they do not have any savings. So is savings, or let's say investments, are those the things in finances that catch the most attention? Or in other words, I want to ask you, according to you, what are the ABCs of finance that, from a children's perspective, that parents should actually teach them?
Mhm. So there are two aspects of finances that can be taught from very early ages. One
Okay.
is saving, and then also one is sharing.
Check.
These two are the most important part of it. Uh, the other two aspects that we begin to teach at a little bit older age is spending and investing. Now, let's say for a 4-year-old, I don't think there's any way to explain what an investment is or what is spending. They really don't, even though that they've become very sophisticated.
True.
But the concept of saving and sharing are the ones that we can really start from a young age. Because as we've talked a lot of times, our children are being born with one of these devices in their hands straight from their mother's tummy. They come out and say, okay, I'll feed you milk, I'll change your diapers, grab one of these and stay busy, don't bother me. So our
Very
children are
true.
being exposed to material stuff from a very young age. You and I, we did not have this.
Correct. Definitely
I'm a
not.
little older than you, so I remember, and our family was well off. My father was a doctor, but new toys and new clothing was twice a year for New Year and then for birthdays. That was it, and we were very happy with that. But these days, I mean, our children see parents, we are doing this, and then next day something appears at our door. It's like, wow, this is cool. I can go there and just touch the device, and a toy will show up. So it's very important for them to learn the value of the things that they want. We see things that we want, whether it's a child who wants a toy, electronic or whatever, or even an adult that wants greater things. So these two elements can be, and then along with these two are the character traits that we teach in our program to children, youth, and adult, and that's where the name Mind Treasures come from. The treasures that we consider are the character traits that we are all born with, like patience, responsibility, moderation, accountability, respect. All of those tie into financial aspects of life.
Okay, okay, perfect. So, just summarizing that, basically, we start with saving and sharing for the younger children, and investments start later on, right? Once they grow older, investments and budgeting. Okay. Is there a age for that, or it's just like, once they just grow older and once they get to know about spending and things?
So there's no specific age. A lot of the habits, even though that the children may not understand, I'll go back to the concept of when we teach our children to brush teeth.
Correct.
We teach them as soon as they have their first tooth. We don't explain to them that, well, if you don't brush, you're going to get cavity, and we don't even tell them that, well, that's your baby tooth. You're going to have adult tooth in there. So first, it's that development of habit. So for example, when we teach them how to save, that is basically, it's the same concept for saving for retirement. It's no different, it's just at a different level in there.
Understood.
Uh, yeah, when we teach our children to have moderation in their time. So these days, if we leave our children alone, all they want to do is just spend time on their device.
Correct.
And if you tell them you were on TikTok for 2 hours. You say, oh, only 2 hours? I need more time on it. So when we help them balance their life, because our human nature, yeah, if you sit there, that's all we want to do. That's all we want to do. And before we know it, we spend too much time. But once we help them balance that time, that yes, a little bit of this is okay. Some playing outside, some playing with friends and family, dinner time, responsibility around the house. That is basis of our borrowing system, and having a balance is basis of our moderation. So at different times, like parents can decide, oh, now this is a good time to engage my child or my youth in how I run my household budget.
Got it.
So the youth may not necessarily understand it, they will not implement it
So it's basis
themselves.
a parent's decision.
It's parents' decision. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. There is no really right time or wrong time to start that process.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All right. So I think that part is also clear. Coming to just the last question that I had in my mind is, let's say, giving a pocket money. Is that the only way to teach finance to children? Also, is it important to give pocket money to children from an early age? Because we all know how important practical learning is compared to theoretical, because there is that much that theoretical can do, but practical can actually give you the real experience. So does pocket money give you the practical learning when it comes to finance?
So let me ask you this: when you were growing up, did you get pocket money?
Now when I was too young, that's for sure. I started
Okay.
getting, yeah, I used to get, but not in the form of digital. It, but not when I was too young. That's for
Not
sure.
that.
I think
And
not sure when it started though. But
mhm.
not when I was too young.
Yep. And neither did I. I mean, when I was a child, I didn't have pocket. I didn't even know that concept or anything like that. But again, times have changed, and this is something that parents always talk about when we talk to parents about giving pocket money. And it doesn't necessarily have to. Let's clarify that it doesn't have to be necessarily money. There are many families that cannot afford giving pocket money to a child, but it can be in the form of rewards or stickers or something. So basically, children understand they can value the things that they want.
Okay.
Again, if all they're saying is that we touch the screen and something shows up, they don't see what goes that, well, my parents, either one of them or both of them, went to work, they had to work for so many hours, wait for their check, and then make sure that everything else is all the life necessities are paid, and then they got something that they wanted, not needed. So with the children, is the same way, because again they are being exposed to material stuff from a young age. They see it and they want it. A child maybe see a Lego set and they want that. So parents can either buy that Lego set for the child just because the child wants it, or maybe because to calm them down or do something, or they can implement a allowance system that the child knows that, well, every, let's say every month I'm going to get certain amount, let's say $20 for example. A
Okay.
child age 5 knows that I'm going to get $20 every month, and
Something like
toy
an
that I want.
allowance, a monthly allowance, right?
Yeah, monthly, weekly, whatever
Well,
parents feel
perfect.
comfortable. It's totally up, and the amount is also totally up to the parents. Nobody can say. I cannot say how much they should give because it all depends on the family financial situation. But then the child sees that I get $20. Let's say the Lego that I want to buy these days, I'm sure it's the same in India. A small Lego set is like $50, 5 pieces, and it's $50.
Yeah,
It's
things that
crazy.
things have become much more expensive than how it used to be. That's for sure.
Exactly, exactly. So that child can see that, oh, if I want to buy this, maybe I need to wait 3 months. And then when parents help them understand that, well, you should save some of it for the toy, and then maybe set aside some for sharing because there are always other people that don't have the things that we have.
Okay.
That way, now the child understands, they understand the values, like, oh, I have to wait 3 months before I can get this toy. And for
So
them
that
to
will help
understand that,
teach the child savings, right? When they actually have to
they
save and then buy it after 3 months.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. That helps them develop discipline. Don't go on instant gratification as soon as I see it, I want it. No, I want it, I like to have it, but then I'm going to wait for it. So that is why giving allowance, pocket money, whatever you want to call it, and not necessarily money, is very important these days. We have seen many parents that have implemented this system. After not having it, they see a 180 degrees change in their children. Especially like children would not respect their toys or even pencils or their resources that they have. Now they see that, oh, I have to wait. I just don't get it. it really makes a difference in their lives.
Okay, and
And
they start respecting money as well.
yes, yep,
Okay,
yep,
definitely. Okay,
exactly.
sure, Alex. That's it from my end. And the questions that we had in our mind. We really appreciate you for taking time off for this event and giving your insights. Mind Treasures is definitely doing a great work in eliminating financial illiteracy, and we are also looking forward for the financial literacy for children. But thank you so much for the event, Alex, and we hope to see you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.